One. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sunday night at 9. Welcome. Glad to have you. Oh, we've got a lot of people already on board. Thank you for coming. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Tonight is going to be an excellent night. We've got a tremendous topic. You're going to have a lot of fun. I'm your co-host, and we got Glenda, the host, and we're ready to have you here. Remember, every Sunday night at 9 o'clock, we're here Eastern Standard Time. This is a great format. The format is very simple in the fact that you got you and 20 of your girlfriends in your living room, and this is your chance to just relax and say your truth. Well, any relationship questions you got pertaining to the topic, and you can steer off the topic a little bit, but we're trying to keep it as much to the topic as we can. And Glenda will tell you tonight's topic when she gets it. But before that, make sure that you take the time to realize this is a safe space. Please share. If you want to be a part of the audience, there's no problem. You can raise your mechanical hand, which is that yellow little hand there, or you can just speak out and let us know, or we can just raise your regular hand if we can see you. You can get in as much as you can. My name is Rufus Carpenter, and I come to this relationship space just a little different than most. Mine started as a child of a 14 family. We lived in 3-bedroom house with only 1 bathroom. And if you can imagine sleeping in a bed with 4 of your siblings, and if you got one occasional bedwetter, Jesus, you know what I'm talking about, learning what the essence of the human connection is. Fast forward, I was married 27 years to the same lady, and we just had an awesome time. And if you married 27 years, you learn a thing about commitment, you learn a thing about compromise, you learn a thing about communication, you learn a thing about, I couldn't even say it now, trust and loyalty. These are things are needed for successful marriage, but however, these things also are needed to understand a deeper human connection. Still moving along, a large part of my background came from the United States Army. In the United States Army, I was trained as an equal opportunity race relationship leader, where I had the responsibility of taking the first intake forms of any race or relationship problems we had in our unit. So therefore, I have a very diverse background in this space. So I'm more than happy to represent the males and give you the males' perspective. And the host of this show who's our senior coach, Coach Glenda. Let me turn it over to Coach Glenda. Coach Glenda, is all yours, girl.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for chiming in to our Sunday night's open discussion. I am very happy to see everyone here. Okay, we got a few more we're gonna let in real quick.
I got them.
Okay, all right. So I wanted to, before I start off with the topic, I just want to ask you guys, you can put it in the chat or you can raise your electronic hand. I want to know, is there a difference between a high value woman and a high maintenance woman? Do you think that they're one and the same, or do you think they're 2 different individuals?
2 different things.
Who said that?
Mildred.
All right. Hey, I like that. Anyone else want to chime in on that one? Okay, all right, let's see. Okay, all right. I see Andre said that I think he said 2 different, you know what? My take on that, I do agree with you both. They are 2 different individuals. So tonight's discussion is about what's a high value woman waiting for in a mate. So can anybody give me a definition of what a high value woman is? I don't want to give you the answer right now. Just want someone to chime in. Let me see.
A high value.
No, go ahead.
Okay. A high value person is one that not only respects herself, but she requires other people to respect her. She wants to be treated right. She doesn't want to be treated like an airhead or a bimbo. She doesn't want to feel like just because she knows that her opinion is not respected, or that type of thing. So a high value person is somebody that really thinks a lot of themselves, and not like in a cocky way, but I'm talking about not only do they feel good about themselves, but they expect to be treated good.
Well, I'm gonna let you go ahead and take my place tonight because I mean you summed it all up. I mean, I have nothing else to do. No, I'm just joking.
No.
Okay, you did an excellent job. I mean, you really hit all the nails on the head, in all honesty. They and just my interpretation of a high value individual, woman or male, to be honest, because we do have Mr. Carpenter and Andre and Mr. Parker on the line too. It's a rare gem. Someone that is very valuable and is a type of person that you would rarely come across. It's something about them that separates them from everybody else. But Mildred, you hit the nail right on the head when you said someone that respects themselves. You're absolutely right. They value their self, and they take pride in, they take pride in themselves, and they, really hold themselves in a high regard. Okay, so with that being said, since we already got the definition of a high value woman out there, so the next thing I want to ask you is, how would a high value woman or male wait for their mate? Andre, are you saying
Lonely.
lonely?
No, I'm
Lonely.
saying that's what the high value woman might be. She might be lonely, waiting.
She would be. Some may be. But
Yeah, but
I mean, if she's lonely, is it worth it for her to be lonely by herself?
Well, if they listen to some of these music artists, they'll think it is, but the reality is, I don't think it is.
Why
They
why
might
you
need to
say that?
settle. Well, think about it. If you might be high value, you may be all of this, and you have these standards, but yet you're lonely, and you're not getting what like you're missing out on life. Seems like.
But wouldn't you think that if she held out and she tolerated the loneliness, it would be worth the wait if she came across Mr. Right or another high value mate?
Well, if she asks her friends who are in a lower quality relationship, they'll probably tell her she's single, and so hush her mouth. Like she can't get no feedback.
yeah, but a high value woman is very confident in who she is and to whom she belongs. So yes, you will have periods wherein you are lonely, but it's still yet worth the wait. So you got to reposition yourself and just continue to do things for yourself, because that inner happiness don't come from having a partner. It comes from within. And when you know who you are and to whom you belong, you can turn to that at times when you're lonely, and that will pass. Bouts of loneliness may come, but because you are high valued and confident and know to whom you belong, it didn't stay. And it's worth the wait.
And
Because
guess
if
what
you
else?
compromise and fall for something less, then you got to deal with that.
Patient. That's what you wait patiently.
Yeah.
And
And keep yourself busy.
Exactly.
and guess what else?
Go
You
ahead.
you can be in a relationship where it's and still be lonely if that's not the right person. Because
Bingo.
hey,
I've been there. I've been there.
You just hit a field goal. You just hit a field goal because you're absolutely right. Because if you end up settling and you just jump into something that just to kill the time or to get you by for that moment, you could still be miserable. Okay, you have someone, but you're miserable with that person because you settled. So you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Now, when you think about for some of us that are on the line that are currently in a relationship, how does waiting for, how does your current mate fit this situation? Do you feel as if you held out long enough and you got exactly what you wanted, you know, or or I don't know if anybody going to be that honest on the call, but, you know, do you feel like you should have waited a little bit longer? Oh. Andre, for real? For real?
What Andre say?
He
She
be in bed.
busy, but I feel like to avoid loneliness. Oops. Oh, oops. But she gets some trouble started. Laugh out loud. Okay, Andre. What kind of
Because, you
trouble
know,
can she
somebody
get
may
started,
have their
Andre?
dude or their, you know, somebody may be with their boo at the current, you know, doing this discussion. So they're like,
And that happened once before you asked that question, and their mate was right there.
As a matter of fact, the mate talked to me too. Yeah, so yeah.
all right, Mr. Carpenter, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to comment on this one.
Okay, on the one you just said right now?
Yes,
How do you wait?
yes.
Okay, waiting is a great time to self-reflect and look at what's important to you. Because a lot of times you gotta realize who you are before you can find out who you're going for. Because it's hard to pour from an empty cup. Sometimes you have to do the work on yourself, because if you consider yourself a high value person and you're looking for another high value person, you want to feel that they've done the work before they get to you. So you want to be ready. You want to have done your work too, because if both of you bring something unique and different to that equation, you only 50% of the equation. So if you only 50% of the equation, you want to make sure that your half is there, solid. So when you find someone, you don't have to settle anymore because you know what you bring to the table. So if they bring to the table as much as you bring to the table, and sometimes you may be heads and shoulders above that other person, but they bring their genuine self and good heart to the situation. So you may be able to I'm not saying fix nobody, don't get this the wrong way, but you might be the assist them until they can get to where they need to be in life. Because you may not meet at the same level, but you meet each other where you are.
Right. And you cultivate the relationship.
That's there you go, Angela. That's it. Any more can I add to that for you, Glenda? That was enough. You got it, or you may add some more?
Do you have any more to add? I want you to speak your truth, sir.
Yes, because when you're talking about waiting, how do you wait? What does that look like? Now, a lot of people wait. They say, I'm waiting for my mate, and they're in the club doing it all night long. They stay out all night long with their person on their arm, whether it's a male or female. They stay out all night long with them. They frequent clubs. They on online dating. They do all these things while they're supposed to be waiting for their mate. Now, if you all up in somebody else's face, you waiting for your mate.
No, I think you spend that time maybe growing, you know, reading, growing, and investing. That's picking up hobbies,
Mm-hmm.
trying to go to your chapter 2. That's just like when a person retire. A lot of times they go, duh, what am I going to do now?
Mm-hmm.
But if they have any hobbies prior to, then you need to get out and start doing things and see what interests you. That's why I encourage people to try to find some of that prior to retiring. So you don't wake up and like, well, what am I going to do today? Same thing in a relationship. While you're waiting, get yourself some hobbies. Go and explore, travel.
Yeah, and I guess what you're saying is what's important to you. You got to look at what's important to you.
What's important to you?
Waiting for your mate, your life ain't on hold. You're not on hold waiting for a gift to drop out the sky or waiting for God to send you this person. So I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait. A lot of times, a lot of people confuse wait meaning that you just stay and do nothing. Wait means that you're doing something productive for your own life and within your own life. Right. Yes, you're waiting, but you're waiting with expectancy as you work through what you got to work through.
Right.
A lot of times when you don't have somebody on your arm or in your corner, You have to realize that you can get, this is a great time that you don't have clutter in your life. You don't have the bags or the baggage that's gonna hold you or cling to your feet and stop you from being successful and doing what you need to do. You can be surprised that the person that has your name on them, that knows you already by heart, that person can find you at some of the strangest places at some of the strangest times. You don't know when it's gonna happen.
No.
It happens sooner than later, but you still got to realize something. You still have to continue to live your way. What do you bring to the table? What are you looking for? Have you determined what that actually looks like? If I ask anybody on this line, whether it's male or female, do you know exactly what you're looking for? Do you know exactly what you want? Can you quantify it? You know, those are the type of things you say when you wait, because waiting, what that looks like may be different from me than it is from you. Because waiting could be that you got to clean up, get your own house in order.
I was thinking the same thing.
That's what it might look like. It might not, you look like you wait for somebody to get their house in order. You had to get your own house in order.
Right. And get rid of some of your extra baggage.
That's it. All right, Glenda, let me give it back to you, Glenda. I ain't mean to get carried away, but I enjoyed, this is a topic I know a lot about.
Oh, maybe the wrong person led off.
No, the right person led off. You're doing very well. You got everybody talking right out the gate.
Oh, it's a female thing.
So that is good. Let's tell you what, let's take this time to hear something, guys. I know that we got a lot of people in the audience tonight and appreciate having you here. And a lot of times me and Glenda talk about stuff, and sometimes I hog all the conversation, and I apologize for doing that. It's just that I have so much fun when I get in front of you. What are some of the things you want to share about this subject? Because all of us waited. All of us have waited, have been in a line waiting for a mate, whether it's a line in your church, whether it's a line in your house, or whether it's a line with you and your girlfriends or boyfriends, and you say, girl, I wish I could find me somebody like you got, or I wish I could find me somebody that I could go to movies with. I wish I could find somebody that I could travel with. I wish I could find somebody to do all these chores around my house so I don't have to do them all myself. Girl, I'm tired of leading. I want somebody to come here. I want to be soft. This is just too much. You know, God didn't make me for this. Who has that testimony, or who has that they want to share tonight?
I think a majority of the women probably on the call has experienced that. I know for myself, I have, but you know, I had those moments where I was like, oh man, there got to be a better way. I mean, ooh, this is just too much. But at the end of the day, when I look back at stuff in retrospect, I'm like, at least I didn't have to get, you know, I didn't have to have a sugar daddy to help me pay my bills. I didn't have to tolerate with a whole bunch of nonsense and foolishness. You know, I decided not to settle because along with after when I was in my marriage, I realized in the first year I had married the wrong person because I had based my marriage, or my marriage was based on old time religion. So I knew the first year of marriage that I had the wrong person. So I started waiting after the first year of marriage, even though I was married for almost 8 years. So I was still waiting for Romeo to come. But I ended up marrying and sticking around with Bilbo for almost 8 years. But at the end of the day, by me being single, married and single, because that's how I looked at it, because I had to do everything by myself, even though I had a husband there, he was just as healthy as I was, and we had children, I still had to do everything by myself. So when the transition came with getting a divorce, going through custody and all that good stuff, I mean, literally, I had to do everything by myself. He wasn't trying to pitch in and help out wherever he could because he was still the father of my children. He was like, oh, you don't want me? Peace out. I'm like, oh, nope, good. I had to learn how to take my own car to the mechanic. I had to learn how to make sure all the bills were paid without, you know, any help from anyone else. I mean, it was a huge load, but at the end of the day, I appreciate that journey that I went on by myself, because I learned a lot about myself. And even through the process of waiting for Mr. Right, or my destiny mate, or my high value male, you know, I'm like, I want someone that brings something to the table that is at least where I'm at. I don't want to go, less than, because I don't want to pull the whole load anymore. I want a team player. I want someone that is able to contribute and give to the relationship just as much as I do.
What are some of while you're waiting? Let's ask a question. If you're waiting for a mate, let's say, and I know some of you on the call says you're comfortable where you are. I don't have a boo, and I'm comfortable in that space, and that's great. That's great. But let's say you get lonely a little bit. The movie came out. And as a matter of fact, I talked to my sister the other day, and she told me she was going to see King Kong and Godzilla. I think it was King Kong Godzilla. And I was talking to her on the phone, and I heard her doing the driving to get to it. So I was saying to myself, if she had her mate going with her, it would. I don't think me and her could talk on the phone because they would be talking in the car, and I wouldn't have that chance to talk. But
right.
when you have someone that you can do things with regularly, if it's just going to the movies or going bowling or something like that. And when you're waiting for that mate, it don't always have to be a love interest. It don't always have to be, I'm trying to find that husband or that wife. It could be that companion. It's what it looks like for you.
Right.
What it looks like for you, because I don't think everybody wants to get married.
No, they don't.
Yeah, and so, but I don't think nobody want to be alone, because like the Surgeon General said, the biggest epidemic in America right now is widespread loneliness. And it's affecting our health because we weren't designed to be alone. When men are alone, they don't have the intimate partner, they get mad.
You've said this several times. You have
Yeah.
said this several
Okay,
times.
and I need to say it until we get the message. Women, when they don't have the intimacy, they get depression. And a lot of women don't realize that what the depression is when they don't want to get out of bed, don't want to do things, don't want to travel, and start having a lot of issues. It's a lot of that is depression from not having that intimate interaction in their lives. And that's been proven time and time again. So, who's that? Uncle Charlie said, "Love is good for your health." That's true. Hey, Andre, how does a man wait? Let's tell the women how it's done. How does a man wait for a high value?
I don't know if I'm the good one to speak on it, because truthfully, I don't know if as a guy that I'm actually waiting in a sense. It's like I don't know if I'm the right one to respond to that one.
Okay, I'll take your place and I'll respond. Here's how a man waits. When a man commits himself and say, "Hey, really, I want to be in a committed relationship, and I'm looking for furthermore down the road," first thing a man does, he gets his finances straight. That's the first thing he starts looking at, his finances. Because what y'all women say, date what you can afford. That's the first thing y'all say. So a man get his finances straight. Then the next thing, the man gets his personal life straight. He start changing his repertoire. Let me say it like that. I'm gonna say it easy. He start changing his repertoire. He started his repertoire. Okay.
Meaning what?
She said, meaning what?
Let me finish. This is my story to tell. Let me tell my story. Then I'll get to that. Let me tell my story. He changes rep, and I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that. But then a man start realizing, starts deciding where does he want to stay? Is he gonna stay in his current area where he wants, or he's gonna move somewhere else? And then if he just wants somebody that he's gonna be long-term relationship with and not marriage, he wonder, what does that look like? Is it someone with children, without children, that someone to live by themselves, or is it someone? It's a lot of different ways a man look at it. A man think it through logistically. A man don't look at the heart, I say, as much as a woman, or emotionally as a woman would. A man look at logistic. How is it going to work out? So most men get set in their ways, and they got to get someone that interacts and fit with that. Now, what's that question you asked me, Angela? And I answer for you?
I forgot now.
Then we good. Next. Keep it moving.
Really.
Go ahead, Glenda. Let me turn it back over to you, Glenda.
She wanted to know what repertoire was.
Oh, Mildred, why you had to bring that out, Mildred? Mildred,
Thank
I think
you.
Thank you.
I think Mildred got a little relationship training because she always had the right answers. She
Uh-huh.
so I think you have that kind of background. I don't know you from a can of paint, Mildred, but I think you got that background because I know the way you answer questions. Repertoire meaning that the people you already see in your life, the people that's already important in your life from the other sex. That's what repertoire means. You got to start reeling that in. Because if you marry somebody, marriage is not a fire extinguisher. If you talking to 3 or 4 ladies here and there and you get married ain't no fire extinguisher. You got to get that handled before you get married. Because you think marriage gonna be a fire extinguisher? It's not. And men know that.
You sure?
They should know it if they're gonna marry somebody. Because they are the ones that ask the lady to marry. They're the ones that say, ma'am, would you marry me? So if they're going to ask that question, they should already have done no self-work to get it to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know if it's my choice to marry somebody, and I know if I marry her, I got to be committed to that one lady that her.
Go ahead, keep talking.
I know if I got to be committed to her, then I know I can't have Susie, Sally, and Barbara Jean. I can't have them. I got to cut
Amen.
them. I got to cut them loose. Then I can have a Glenda. See, then I can do that. I can't bring all this into that. That's baggage that like what's that lady said? Hey, bag, let's get them bags don't get in your way.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's good. That's good.
All
I
right.
wanted to come in and say women, what is it? We're talking about high confident women?
No, we're talking about high value. High value women. And the self-confidence is one of the values that make them high value women.
Okay. But they look at things logistically as well. You know, and they can get set in their ways as well, but you got to be willing to here again give and take. If you're planning on, you know, uniting and becoming as one. You said that men, you know, you were given the things that happens with the man, but a woman as well look at things long term and logistically as well.
Okay.
Right.
Okay,
Someone
Andre,
raise
go ahead,
your
Andre.
hand.
You raise your hand, Andrea.
Yes,
Go ahead.
compromising.
Yeah.
You gotta give
That's
me
a
more than
key
that, though.
factor. There's a key factor, compromising. You both got to be willing to compromise. One can't just have it all. There's got to be a medium, you know?
Right.
But Andre, before you go, Andre, I gotta say, but a lot of times we're talking about you're waiting from afar. The person don't know you're waiting for them. So
Okay.
the compromise is going to look a little different. That you have to
Right.
decide what you. I think the compromise is going to have to be boundaries more if you're not with them, right? Am I correct?
That's
Is
true.
what you're
That's
saying?
true. You're right. You got
Okay,
that.
I just want to make sure I was with you because I didn't want
I
to
jumped the gun.
No,
I'm
no, you didn't. No,
sorry.
you didn't, because compromise. Because you've already determined what your boundaries are. You already determined what you'll compromise on. You've already made that compromise in your mind. You got a hard stop in your mind what that looks like. Correct?
Correct. Hard
Okay.
stop.
Yeah. Does everybody understand that about boundaries and what she said? Compromise, and we put the boundaries that if you haven't met them yet, when you going through your list of what they got to have or what they got to present, what you have to realize is what's hard, what's your boundaries are. Because a lot of times you might say, I'm not going to date anybody with young kids. And you love them to death, and you love the man, and then the man say, hey, look, I got two of my little girls that stay with me, and then I got my niece. But you love them to death, and you've already made that boundary. I'm not gonna be with nobody that have young kids. Right there, are you gonna break your own boundaries because you love them to death, or are you gonna stick to your boundary and say, hey, no, or are you gonna compromise? That's why it's boundaries and compromise. It's boundaries when you're not together, but when you get together, it's a compromise. So that's the only thing, because I know at my age, do I want little kids now? At my age, do I want to marry or be with somebody that want to have children? Do I want to do that? At my age, I meet a lady right now, and she says, Rufus, I want to have a child by you. You know, at my age, I've made boundaries. Am I gonna compromise? Okay, baby, let's go ahead and have a child, or I'm gonna be like Forrest and run.
I mean, answer your own question, Rufus. What you gonna do, Rufus?
I think Forrest sounded pretty good right about now.
Run. Run.
I want to circle back to a comment that
Okay,
Andre made in the chat.
Okay.
He says that waiting probably means cutting your ex loose. What you got to say about that?
It's part of the repertoire.
What now?
That's part of, I guess, the repertoire.
Wait a minute, Andre, you put that in there, Andre?
He sure did.
Well, what I was saying, what I was saying is that a lot of times when for a guy, I would just say like for a guy, really just trying to get your ex out of your mind probably is that waiting in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I'm really doing anything per se, other than saying, let me stop having this 2 a.m. call.
Some
Or
are
let me
doing
stop.
something other than talking.
Like a lot of times the ex will still be in the picture, and there's and so it's kind of like maybe making sure that you're no longer the foundation for the ex if you're really waiting, I guess.
Right, because a
Glenda,
high value person want them already free when they get started.
They don't do any sharing.
Right.
Do you have a comment, Mr. Carpenter?
No, I'm being quiet on this.
Oh,
I'm gonna
your silence means something, sir.
I'm gonna say you need to set boundaries with your ex.
Yes,
absolutely.
Calling you or just dropping by.
Yes, that's right. Tell them it's go.
That's right.
Andre, you just started something.
Well, you told me you wanted me to lead. That's what happens when I lead.
And we do want honesty, right?
Hey, say it
Yes.
again.
That's right. That's
right. That's what I'm talking about. You gotta cut the past loose.
It's a part of moving forward. You can't go forward.
We about to have church up in here. What?
You can't go forward looking backwards. You can never drive a car forward looking backwards.
Yeah, that's right. It'll never work. You're gonna get in an accident every time.
I see why we missed you, Angela.
and if you're afraid to do that, maybe you're just not ready. So just keep on waiting.
That's right. You need to work on yourself.
Amen, Angela. Amen.
Wait till you can get it togetver.
That's
you
right.
ain't ready.
Because you know what? Karma is a mother.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I've never seen you this quiet, Mr. Carpenter.
Moving right along. We're at the third.
This is good one. I like this.
We're at the 32-minute mark, and we're going to wind this down in the last 10 or 15 minutes of the segment. We've already talked about what is a high-value woman. We already talked about waiting for a mate and what does it look like, and we already talked about how does waiting for a mate, how does that look, and now we're going into the part of when you have to wait for a mate, when you have to wait for your mate, when you actually have to wait for your mate. What is that? How do you negotiate that when you actually have to wait for your mate? Any suggestions? Any thoughts on that part of the topic?
What do you actually mean when you say have to wait? What do you mean?
Okay, how do you wait for your mate? It's about staying open for love while you're being selective. You're being selective, but you want to be open for love, but you want to be selective. You don't want to fall for anybody. You just don't want to settle for anybody. It's not who do you meet, it's your standards. You got to have your standards, and you got to know how you deserve to be treated. Because sometimes while you're waiting, the hour can get long, and then you can get to where you're saying, oh my God, hey, right about now, he or she looks good. Where really, even though you want to be loved, you got to wait. And it's putting yourself out there. You got to put yourself out there. The things you can't find nobody sitting in your living room every day, every night. On Saturdays, you sit in the living room. On Wednesdays, you're sitting in your living room. On Sunday, you're sitting in the living room. Friday night, you're sitting in your living room. You can't find nobody there. You got to put yourself out there somewhat. I'm not saying you got to go hang at the bars or the clubs. I'm not saying that. But you got to get out into the public. Or if you date, if you do the online dating, whatever it is you do, you got to get out there. You got to put yourself out there.
Amen.
And you have to do that so the right person can come into your life. Go ahead, Barbara.
I was just saying you're so right. You can't find anyone sitting in your living room unless they're sitting in the living room with you.
And that means you already got them. Or
Not
you just didn't know.
necessarily. Not necessarily.
You're right. It could be a friend that you call a trust friend. Y'all do things together. You're right. It could be that. You correct.
But make sure you're not going to the place where you don't want that kind of person. So don't be hanging out at the bar if you don't want somebody that drink or get drunk. You know.
That's good.
Yep.
That's
good.
right.
Or
Right.
or going to the club and then hooking up with someone that has to go to the club every weekend because they like
Right.
to dance.
Right.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or if they gotta have a drink every day at home. If you don't want somebody that drink, don't start with it. And just be honest with them. Let them know what you're looking for. It won't pay either. Because they always put their best foot forward in the beginning. So
Yes.
you gotta let them know what you're looking for or what
Yes.
you want. So
Yes.
and vice versa. If
Yes.
you know they're looking for one particular thing and you know that's not what you are or want to be, don't try to fool them and think you're gonna change them.
Absolutely.
You sure ain't.
Amen.
Because we in our line of work, Glenda and I says it's like shopping for shoes. You don't settle for a pair if it don't fit, right? It's gotta fit right. So if it's not, you gotta wear, it gotta fit right. It's the same with dating. It's the exact same with dating. Why, you gotta be selected because your heart deserves a perfect fit.
Right. That's true.
Just like buying a pair of shoes, ladies.
Right. It really is.
Oh, hey, us guys, we holding out for the Cinderella slipper.
Make sure you clean out, get rid of some of that luggage and some of them exes.
And
then,
don't buy
princess to
pleather.
come.
Look, don't buy pleather if you want leather.
Yes,
All
yes.
right.
I haven't heard from Annette tonight. Annette, you there? I haven't heard from you tonight. Is Annette with us tonight?
Yes.
Yeah, she spoke up earlier.
Oh, I didn't hear it. I missed it. I'm sorry.
No, we did not hear from Felicia.
Oh, okay.
Felicia, I know you want to chime in.
I have nothing to say on this topic.
Really?
Felicia, Felicia, I'm glad you mentioned Felicia. Felicia, here's something I'm gonna say, and this is something that me and Glenda talk about sometimes. When you're waiting, it's like cultivating the appearance. It's like a garden. Imagine a relationship as a garden, and realize that you gotta water it and you gotta tend to the plants. And this is what that one lady said. It might be in the chair beside you, because sometimes some of your friends, it might be like a garden. If you put a little water on that friendship, a little gratitude, appreciation, and let it be like sunshine and rain.
Well, I'm not waiting. I don't wait any longer.
Uh-huh.
I'm in, like the ladies say, I get out and I mix and I make. I get out the house. I don't sit here. I get out. So you have to get out if you're going to meet someone. And like you all said, you do have to free yourself of some baggage. And I've done that probably 85% of that. I do still have some lingering baggage that I still have to clean up. So it's not 100% clean, but I still consider myself single, but I still do have some, I would say 15% of baggage that I still have to clean up. So, so I'm not, totally, to the point where I can say that, but like I said, I still consider myself free to date, free, open to the point where I am free to seek a mate, seek the person that I, my mate. But I have yet to find that person, and I get out quite a bit.
Okay.
I still deal with some exes. So this conversation, it does hit home, but that's my baggage. And so I'm dealing with that too, how I'm dealing with it. But it's a personal thing, and so something I'm working myself through. But it is a situation, and it can take you through a situation. But yeah, I am not sitting waiting for someone to come into my life. I'm not, like Andre said earlier, about women being lonely, I'm really at peace, really. And when the time comes, I'm at peace, so I'm not lonely, I'm at peace.
That's good. That's good. So who is CG says it's not in my book. I don't get on the
That's
online.
me.
Oh, that's you? Oh, I'm
Coach
sorry.
Glenda.
Oh, okay. I ain't know. I was gonna say that's a good.
We're gonna have to have a talk after this, sir.
Okay, but I was gonna comment you. I was gonna get a good comment. Well, I ain't gonna give it to you now since I know it's you.
Okay, ladies. Okay, ladies. I got a question. So what happens when you're tired of waiting? What are you doing in the meantime? When you get tired of waiting for Mr. Right, Mr. Romeo, your destiny partner, whatever you want to call it, your soulmate, what are you doing?
Wait.
Continue to wait?
Like, that's right. Like standing. When you still stood, you still stand.
Okay.
And keep living, being productive with your life.
Absolutely.
You don't give up on your life just because you can't find the Romeo. You keep living.
You keep living your life. That's right.
That's right.
Okay.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with having an escort to go somewhere. I'm talking about, like, if something is going on and you don't want to go by yourself, you can go with a friend. Just don't give them that impression that you're interested in them in any other way.
Correct. You know what? And I'm so glad you said that. Because I found out, I heard someone else say it, and I just had to share it with you guys tonight. And I might be jumping the gun, but I don't care. I really don't care. I found out, and it's true, and I'm hoping that y'all gonna give me some positive feedback. Pussy don't get you no husband. So in the meantime, while you're waiting, don't be out there playing with these men and these women, feelings, just having sex to take care of that urge or take care of that need. Because if y'all are not going in the same direction, it's not gonna work. Because I do know a few women personally that uses their body thinking that they're gonna seal a husband.
Can I speak as a man and not as a coach
yet.
right now?
Not
okay,
yet.
okay.
Yeah.
I need to hear some feedback from my ladies on this call. Oh, wait a minute. I got a couple of comments in this chat. Hold up. Wait a minute. Say that thought. Say that thought, Mr. Carpenter.
Well, let me just, can I chime on that?
Please.
I don't think it, and I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's, to me personally, I don't think it's necessarily so wrong to get to solicit or be with someone to fulfill a need, the woman's need, if the need is needed to be needed. As long as the understanding is there with the two parties that understands the situation, and neither one of them are looking for the mate. I'm not necessarily, I'm not necessarily looking at this stage in my life right now to say that I'm ready to be married. So I can't, so that's just my personal preference on that.
But Felicia, Felicia, but that is two consensual adults that, you know, they're coming together for a reason. They both are on the same page. When I was speaking, I was saying that women literally are using their body, doing acrobats in the bedroom, flips and trips and everything, like a Six Flags ride, thinking that they're going to secure a husband.
No, not necessarily. You think that's the case?
No, I know it's the case. I said I know a few women myself. I'm
But
not
that
just
may be a
making this
few,
up.
but that may be a few, but that's not every person.
Well, no, I would never put all of us in the same bucket together, but I do know a few that use their body to secure a husband or think that they will be securing a husband.
Well, I mean I get that's your opinion, but I don't necessarily agree with that. But I get what you're saying, but I don't necessarily agree with that. But okay.
Oh, hey, this is
So what is
an
it
open floor. I want you to speak your truth, but I was just stating, and I accept your honesty. Hey, everybody is never going to agree on the call. Anyone else want to chime in?
This is Annette. I would like to say something on that.
Go right ahead.
I agree with you, Glenda. You don't have to, but I think as an older woman, I don't think that older women do that. I think a younger woman does that because a younger woman has that perception that, oh, he wants me and I'm just so good or whatever. And I'm better than every Susie out here. So he's going to go for me. So I'm going to give him all he got when he's going to Susie, Mary, Jane, and everybody else. However, I think as an older woman, she has experienced that and she understands, no, buddy. I know I'm not going to use my body for that because I know you're going other places. So now you have to deal with my head versus my body. You got to get
Absolutely.
my mental space. So I think that's the difference.
Anyone else want to chime? Is there another lady that wants to chime in? Before I let Mr. Carpenter speak. Andrea, do you have anything to say? My sister is being quiet on this question. All right, Mr. Carpenter.
Well, first I gotta say, as a relationship coach, I've got to say sex won't work unless you have the respect and the connection got to be there. The sex is part of building that foundation. It's not the whole house. It's if you're building a house, you first got to have a foundation. That foundation has to be trust, communication, respect, and it has to be an emotional tie. These are the things added with sex that will keep a husband or get a husband or keep a wife or keep the relationship going and growing. Those are the things that's part of it. Sex alone will not keep a husband or a wife or make a marriage. Sex alone will not do that. It won't even hold a relationship. You're right. You're right. Now, that's what I'm saying as a relationship coach. That's the essence of it. It's almost like you're building a skyscraper. You got to build down before you go up.
Make sure your foundation is sure.
Right. And that's the communication. That's to make sure that you got the emotional, trust, and compatibility. Those are the steel beams that hold the structure up. So you got to build down with the communication, the trust, the compromise, and you got to know how to handle trouble when trouble come your way. And that's that conflict resolution. And that's what communication and that being honest and open helps there. And
Mr. Carpenter, can you be honest and open without the sex?
Yes, of course. Of course you can be honest and open without the sex. Now, for some people, the sex bring that emotional thing and bring it and opens it more, because a lot of times, here's what some people feel. Some people feel when we have sex, that's intimacy that now opens it all up. I can say anything, and not anything crazy, but now I can let you have my whole heart. I can be completely vulnerable because I've given you all I have to give. You hear them songs, my love is all I have to give. In some people's mind, that's all of their love they have to give. In some minds. Because if I lay down to be intimate with you and you're intimate with me, there's nothing more closer. Now, if I tie in the emotional deposits to each other's lives, the trust, the communication, the respect, the mutual support, that's a solid foundation. I'm building down so I can build up. So when we go through rough waters, we can sail it together because we've already got something in place to carry us through. Now that's the way it should work. Because if it don't work like that, if you say the woman just doing acrobats because she think if I throw it on him well, if he think the pussy is all this and all that, he gonna marry me for that. Now that's not a healthy relationship.
No, it isn't.
That's not a healthy relationship, and that won't hold. Because once you get old and can't twist it like she used to twist it, it's a wrap. I mean, right. But that's how that is. Now, can I get freaky and talk about a man now and get off the, can I get off of the coaching part?
We got it. Look, it's too many women on the call. It's too many women. Go ahead.
Now, for not talking, this is me, Tom. This is me just having fun now. I'm just having fun, ladies and gents. Now, man, ain't nothing wrong with a little bump and grunt.
That's why you still waiting.
Oh, Lord.
Dude, I'm sorry. I just had to do it.
I know you did.
All right, go ahead, get back to you, Glenn. I'm sorry. I give it back to you.
You
we
sure?
got about 5 minutes.
Is that all you had to get out?
That's all I had to get out. I had to get that out. But go ahead, Glenn, give it back to you.
All right. Okay. All right. So, what else do we have here? So, Rufus, do you want to do the conclusion?
Yes, I do. Anybody got any questions they want to get out of anything that we didn't cover that they feel we should have covered, or anything in your heart? Now, I haven't heard from Laura. I saw her when she first came on. I think she was one of the first people to chime on.
She's in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, she has, but I haven't heard her voice. Laura, how you doing?
I am fine.
Glad to have you back. We missed you for a while.
Yes, well, I've had some family issues, a brother that was in the hospital and things like that. So I've been doing quite a few things. But
we're glad you're here tonight.
One of the things that y'all are talking about in relationship to sex, and I wanted to bring out the point that sex and intimacy are not the same thing. And that you can have a sensual intimate relationship without having the act of physical sex. And that those are two very important things, at least in my mind, that when I'm with a gentleman or whomever I'm hanging out with or vibing with at the time, that the relationship is sensual and intimate, but is not a sexual one. And so I get that Coach Glenda was saying that, and everyone else chimed in, that you don't, that women need to be just a little bit more protective about their bodies and stuff like that. But I think that when you're cultivating a relationship, it should be more along the lines of sensuality and intimacy, which is totally different in my mind.
Correct.
That's all I have to say.
That was matter of fact, well stated. I need to give you a clap on that. You well stated. You almost closed the show on that one. So we really appreciate that. She's right. Sex and intimacy is not the same, because I've known couples that one of the couples could not have sex anymore because of medical reasons, and they continue to have a great productive life and marriage and relationship. So you're true. So thanks for sharing that with us. As we go to close this, we want to thank everybody for being part of the audience tonight. You're great. You're wonderful. You really chimed in and gave us your opinions, and that's what we want to do as we grow this thing. Now, in conclusion, we talked about defining what a high-value woman was, and we said self-respect, that she knows her own worth. She set high standards, and she don't settle for anything. We talked about the characteristics of an ideal partner, where we say the ideal partner have supportive traits, And we said someone that can uplift you and mutual respect for you. We actually talked about being patient in love and what does that look like, the virtues of getting the right mate, how that looks for you. We talked about staying selective, the maintenance you have to do for yourself, the self-care, and walking through the things that you need to walk through. We talked about focusing on self and your strategies. Your strategy. I think me and somebody said you can't find your mate if you're sitting in the living room. You got to put yourself out there. What does that look like? Whether it's dating online or whether it's doing your activities and going places that you normally do things, some of your hobbies. You'd be surprised. A lot of people find their mate on their job. So if you go on your job looking all raggedy and bummy, you might be not helping yourself out. If you need to do your hair or whatever you need to do and go to work looking well, it makes a difference, okay? And also we said building a strong foundation. Your physical attributes will not always get you your boot. You need to look beyond physical attributes. So there you have it, ladies. We appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you next Sunday. Every Sunday night at 9, we're here. We're ready for you. I'd like to see you as soon as possible next Sunday night. Also, we're about two Wednesdays from now, we're going to have every Wednesday, we're going to show what we had on Sunday night. We're going to put our Sunday nights on YouTube, and you'll see them Wednesday. What we did on Sunday night, you'll see it on YouTube on Wednesday. But give us 2 Wednesdays from now, and we'll have that set up for you, okay? Any questions before we say goodnight? It's been fun. It's been real. Next week, same place, same time. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
night.